Welcome back, everybody.
We're coming at you dead from the upside down.
I'm alive. I'm Steve.
I'm Matt.
I'm Cameron. I am also alive.
Yeah, I'm alive too. I'm just a bullshitter. The Chevy shoveling.
I'm in limbo right now. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Guys, this is a landmark. This is our 10th episode.
Yeah.
Big number 10.
Cheers to you fucking degenerates.
Thank you all for tuning in and listening to us throughout these 10 episodes.
We look forward to 1,000 more.
Yes.
So, we were going to buy a real expensive bottle of whiskey, but, got a little sidetracked. So I got this Jim Beam Black Extra Aged 86. Fuck, this is 86 proof. I'm just not realizing that.
Is it really?
Not
All
bad.
right, well, the second half hour of the show might be a little slapping.
Right. I had no idea.
Me either. It's pretty smooth.
It is.
To be fair, we took the money for a bottle and we spent it on postcards.
Yes.
So we can hand out stuff so we can just shove it at you.
Wait,
as you walk
they're
by.
postcards or business cards?
They're postcards. They're like little handouts.
I did not know that.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool. What are we just gonna drop them like from an airplane or something?
Well, no, like when we went to American Fifth, we could have just handed in one there,
Fair enough.
Or even if we're just out and about, we're like, yeah, if we're ever randomly talking about the podcast, just leave them in the car or something. Run
Cool.
out, grab one.
We have some really exciting updates for you guys on episode 11 about some networking we're doing around town. I'll leave that cliffhanger there, but hopefully it all works out the way we want it to, and we're growing a little bit. So thank you guys so much for all the likes, the support, the listeners.
I'm growing just talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little,
Do kind of want to challenge everybody. Get us some topics if you hear something throughout the week and you want to hear us talk about it, hear our opinions on it. Share it to the page, message it to us. We'll always shout you out in the show. We'll always talk about it.
Even
sure.
if it's not something you're really interested in, you think it'd be funny or something that it sparks your interest. We're down to talk about it, especially if you're a listener. We're all about it.
Or even if you just want to tell us that we suck.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Do that too.
That's completely
I'll still give you a shout out.
Yeah,
Right.
please. We won't make fun of you. You
I'm
have every
begging
right
you.
to do so.
We are officially, if you Google us, Wait What Podcast, we are on there.
Just wait, what?
Yeah, just Wait What.
WAIT.
Oh, either way.
WH.
Oh, wait, what podcast
Yep,
too?
Wait What Podcast
Oh.
comes up too.
No T.
No T. No T.
No T. at
Fuck
the
the
end.
T. I mean, the first T's all right, but
Right, first T. Double T, no.
we don't do the dub T around here.
That's right. All right.
Okay, topic time. Cameron, take us away.
All right, so the first topic we have up in our notes: United Airlines refuses to let emotional support peacock onto the flight.
I'm going to stop you right there. I would have said yes.
Yes.
I'd be like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, that's cool, but at the same time, you have to think of the other passengers.
Fuck.
There's a bird flying around shitting all over me. Maybe I don't want a peacock fucking
For all
flying
I know,
around.
I've only seen peacocks run around, first of all. Have you ever seen them? Have you ever seen them fly? Do they fly?
They kind of,
They flutter.
yeah,
That's about
flutter, and then you're they kind of do their jumping flying.
it. They're like
thing.
chickens.
I would guess that
Right,
this
yeah.
one probably has a cute little vest on that says support animal.
Well, that makes it so much better.
Hold on. Its wings may be clipped, I would assume, and maybe it's tamed like a dog.
It's tamed.
I don't know.
I mean, regardless, what you have to think of is that thing's not going to use the bathroom except for wherever it's going to be.
It's not potty trained, you don't think?
It's a bird.
Oh, okay. They can't use the
And
lavatory.
Also, it's gonna take up room, and who wants to sit next to a fucking peacock?
It seems
Fly.
pretty ridiculous. I mean, as a joke, it's funny, but yeah.
If you're in first class and you buy a seat for it, maybe. Maybe if you could shut something off to where it's not fucking with other people. This is high first class. If you need a peacock to fucking fly, why don't you drive your ass somewhere with your fucking peacock? Okay, come on. What else?
You don't get it.
Hold
It's
on,
for
I don't want to move
emotional
on yet.
support.
This is a little.
I was saying with the story.
Okay.
She legitimately tried to get it through security and everything, but it was in the airport then. It walked in with her. It went through security at first, and then the flight attendants had to tell her no.
So security had no problem with it. I bet security was like, let's do it. See what happens.
Right. Well, okay, so it says the problems that Delta initiated with this act happening with people bringing pets. The problems included animals peeing and pooping on the plane and biting passengers or crew members.
Duh.
One passenger was mauled by an emotional support dog, according to Business Insider.
Mauled. That's very descriptive. They didn't say bitten. They said mauled. I mean, he must have got fucked up.
Right.
The other thing is a little bit of gold from this. United Airlines anti-peacock protocol. They have, they have a fucking Thanks, lady. She's like, you know the person that's got to do all the documentation. The HR person's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Someone, yeah, that's
Just when
one
I
of those
thought I'd
rules you
seen it
look
all.
at and you just think about the story behind it. Like you see
Yeah.
a sign that says, no jumping off a bridge.
There's a huge
What the
sign with a peacock with a circle and a line through it.
Right.
Sorry, doesn't fit peacock protocol. You're gonna have to take that thing out of here.
It is funny when you go to the airport, though. You're in line and you see they do have signs that have like guns crossed out and stuff. There'll be one with like a chainsaw. It's like, who the
Who brought a
fuck?
chainsaw?
It's like there's people the gun activists that all of a sudden walk into a Walmart with their like huge I get they're only semi-automatic rifles, but you have like war weapons on your back strapped to you because you're acting out your rights. Like I get it, but
I can open carry whatever
hold
I
on.
want.
Pistols are war weapons, Cameron. I don't really understand the reference there.
all right, war weapons as far as like what do you have a semi-automatic rifle for?
Many
that
people
has-
hunt with
that-
semi-automatic rifles. I'm not joking.
Yeah, but they're not like black and chic looking.
Who cares what
sleek
they look
looking.
like? You don't,
I'm just saying.
You don't like them because they look scary? That's silly.
That's part of the reason I do like that. I like the guns.
Oh, okay.
I like the guns. They're awesome.
But you
to
think they
walk
have-
into a Walmart with one just because it's your right to do so?
On the basis of just because it being your right is kind of silly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Bring a
I agree with
pistol.
that.
Yeah. Like, you get, okay, there's obviously like 8-year-old girls running around. You think they're going to enjoy the sight of somebody walking in with a
So
semi.
that's how you end up with signs on there that all of a sudden there's this fucking, a gun that looks like an M4 with a line through it on the front of your local Walmart. Because of guys like that. Now all of a sudden this lady brought about the peacock with a line through it.
I understand your point.
Well, I totally agree with obviously open carry, but I think it is a lot to bring a semi-automatic rifle into a place like that.
Yeah, that's just too much.
Always carry if you want to. I think you should. If you have the ability to.
It's pretty advantageous to think that you're going to need that to take somebody down.
Yeah,
like, dude, if you're
you're
trained
gonna
with guns and
really-
somebody goes ape shit in Walmart and starts shooting people, you'll be fine just taking your pistol out and shooting
Right.
them. Like,
Yeah.
pop, 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 just
Right.
peppering Walmart just to
You're
get
gonna
that
have to grab cover.
one. Probably be
Get
okay.
down.
Have you guys
Walmart. At Walmart.
flown recently though?
No, a few months ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you went through what is
TSA?
it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Were they assholes to you or they,
I've always had good experiences, man. And the one bad experience was recently. It was last year. My girlfriend and I flew to Vermont, and we got to the Vermont airport from Chicago O'Hare. So we went from one of the biggest airports in the United States to one of the smallest airports in the United States. It's pretty cool. I've always loved the Vermont airport, no problems. But this one particular TSA agent who was a bigger woman, I describe her as a lesbian. But paint your own picture. Asked for a special screening for my girlfriend, and it was kind of weird because you guys have all seen her. I think Matt, you've seen her.
Yeah.
She doesn't look like, and I get you can't
yeah,
just
she
go
don't
off
look
looks
like
alone,
a
but
terrorist
right.
type deal.
but
Super
for her to get
terrorist looking.
randomly chosen for a terrorism check like that, like a super they don't call it that obviously, but it was a very thorough pat down. Let's put it that way. And so I didn't get it, the pat down, and so I was just kind of standing around waiting for her. And the TSA lady goes, "Do you want to go in the back room for this?" And that's when she was like, "Well, both of us." We kind of looked at each other like, "No, why would we do that? That's weird."
Right.
And then as soon as she started patting her down, we started realizing, oh, that's why you asked for privacy, because she took her hand and just about put it in her vagina.
Wow.
She went
Wait,
she went
hold
she
on a
went
minute.
in between her vagina with her hands directly in front of me.
Hold on.
I swear to God.
Jeez.
Swear to God.
They have the thing where you just put up your hands, right?
This is the next step beyond that. This
No
is
way.
swear to God, dude. This is you go like this, you walk out, and then they go, "Yup, random check, come here." And they-
After the whole fucking
Yes.
Yep.
no, why?
I have no idea. And it really irked me, dude, because for me, the takeaway from me was that she was just trying to get her rocks off, and I really felt that way. And I'm not usually sensitive about that kind of shit, I'm like, more security, fine. I have nothing to hide. I'm not trying to bring a gun on the plane. I don't care. I'll step through and let you scan my naked body with your little machine. But this lady, it was so personal, dude. She was just going up and down her legs, literally just finger in between her vagina, like she's hiding something in there. She's wearing leggings, and so it's just all up in there, dude. I'm just like, and this is right in front of me and everybody else.
Yeah.
And that was the only bad experience I've
That's
ever had with
so
TSA.
uncalled for.
It
That's
really, really. I said something. I was standing like 5 feet away. He's like, "Is that necessary?" I was like, "You feel good about that?" Like
Right.
I couldn't help myself. Dude.
Right.
I was
There's no
like
fucking
mumbling pissed off things because and then I was just kind of fuming for like 10 minutes after that. But
Yeah,
I can
that,
imagine how she felt afterwards.
I reacted more than she did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's fucked up, man.
yeah.
I'm
like-
surprised you didn't take that further, man.
Yeah.
That's fucked
I don't
up.
think that you can. I don't think
No?
you're allowed
Yeah,
to
you can.
because
That's
because
gotta
they
be-
said you want to go in a private room. You could have said yes, and they still would have done the exact same thing.
True.
And I guess if you choose to fly, you choose to take the or accept
the
the,
chance to
the
get
possibility.
molested as fuck.
Yes.
That's not right.
Yes,
Like they already fucking scanned her and everything. Like what else is she gonna fucking?
just
do?
right. Refuse the flight. Like
Yeah.
she already
Obviously.
paid all the money for it.
That's crazy.
One thing that I found out too about TSA is once you go through the little thing where you put your arms up and they scan you around the thing, they have to come out and they have to touch you. No matter what, even if you're completely fine, they have to touch you in some way, shape, or form.
give you a little pat down. or
Yep.
something?
They have to touch you.
Why?
Because they just have to be sure that they've done their job.
It's hard not to think about the
completely.
fact that they are just getting their rocks off on this shit.
Right,
You know?
it's true.
Like, what are the odds that this lesbian-looking, bigger, older lady would be like, "Oh, hey, come over here. I need to privately pat you down real quick." Like, really? You chose her?
Right.
Like, I'm looking at my beard. I look more like a terrorist than anybody.
I've got cocaine in my ass right now, but you're not touching me.
Little does she know.
Why is she getting all the fun? What's going on here?
I was glad she got picked. Shit.
Oh, jeez.
That was about it, though. So to answer your question, yes, I've had a bad experience.
Hold on. Another question. Would you guys bring a pet on a plane?
A pet?
Yeah, I mean, going back to the original topic with the peacock. I mean,
Like following the rules type pet.
yeah, like a
Like a
let's
dog
say,
in a carrier type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
No, like an
Or a cat.
actual.
So how?
okay,
Let's
pet.
back up for a second. Who all here has owned a dog in their life?
I have.
You have? All,
In my
all three of
life,
you?
yeah, no,
I have
no,
never
of course.
owned one, but my family has, and so I fell in love with that dog naturally. So when I think about it being my dog, and if I needed to travel with it, I would, and I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks because it's part of the rules. If it can fit in a carrier under the seat or whatever, I can bring it. So
That's the thing, that being in a
see.
carrier and then it goes in with luggage.
no, you can put them under your seat now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So yes, I
See, I
would.
definitely-
But you're
I
not
think
bringing
I
a fucking Great Dane on the plane.
Right. I mean, it depends on the size of the animal.
I'm never
and
buying
where
a
you're
small
going
dog
to.
anyways.
Yeah.
So
I have
I'm
two.
out.
I have two.
You have two small dogs.
Yeah.
You know, I'm starting to reconsider you on the podcast. What kind of dog? Are they
One of
Yorkies?
them is mine, and the other one's my wife's. So
I mean, I like small dogs too,
Yeah.
man. My mom has a Chihuahua mutt mix thing, and he's adorable. I love him, buddy. Shout out, buddy.
I just like big dogs, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
Me too.
Growing up, I was always.
prefer 'em.
Yeah.
I have a
They're
husky
just-
too, so don't get me wrong.
You have 3 dogs?
Yeah, I have 3 dogs.
Cool.
Three
What-
dogs,
what-
2 cats.
Dude, I need to
2
come over to your
kids.
place.
You need to shoot
8
me while you
turtles.
can.
Dude,
8 turtles, 3
5
birds.
peacocks.
No, I'm just
We
joking. 5
always-
peacocks.
I have a support peacock.
Support peacock.
Is this about you? This article?
Maybe.
So, what are your the two small dogs? What type of dogs are
C is a Papapoo.
That's
It's
a
like
mix between-
Papillon Frise and a poodle.
they? Okay.
And then my dog's a dashhound.
Oh, okay. Wiener dog.
Yeah, little
Sweet.
wiener dog.
Very
Nice.
cool. I have
I
nothing.
can say I dig wiener dogs. I do.
Yeah, they're cool.
We know you dig wiener.
It's all about.
I had that one coming.
It's all about the dog's personality. I don't care how big or small they are. If they're a cool, fun dog, I'm in.
For me, I grew up around big dogs, though. Like, I had a Newfoundland, which
Damn,
is just
Newfies are
huge.
sweet. I love
And
those dogs.
They're like bears, man.
Seriously.
And they're just so cozy and friendly.
Tons of hair.
Yeah, there is a lot of hair, but they're so worth it. And then after that, it was German Shepherds. So
Awesome,
it's like,
yeah.
always bigger
Yeah.
dogs, very fucking smart too. But so like with the little dog, it's like, yeah, you're cute, but you're kind of like a cat for me, you know.
Was it Ron Swanson? If it's less than 50 pounds, it's a cat. Cats are useless.
That sounds like
I
something
agree.
he would say.
I agree.
There's only one thing I hate more than lying, and that is skim milk.
Do you remember that episode when he, I don't know how or why it came up, but all of a sudden he started pulling packs of bacon out of different areas of his
Yeah, he's
office.
talking about how
it was
he's
like in the
prepared.
ceiling tile,
Yeah.
in his drawer. Forget the fact that it would have gone rancid weeks ago, but whatever.
Bacon. Bacon. Like, he's-
When he's throwing away the fucking vegetarian bacon, it's like, let me have another piece, please. And he just keeps throwing in the garbage.
Directly in the trash.
Oh, he's getting samples of the
Yeah.
yeah. So funny. Sorry
that's
for
great.
anybody who's never seen that show before.
You should if you haven't.
All right, what is next?
But we're skipping a gay.
I don't want to skip. I don't want to skip that. No, I
want.
want to talk about this because first of all, because it's on in Australia, nothing non-awesome.
The curious case of an Australian home's randomly flushing toilet had
Okay,
a
so-
surprise.
Okay, that fucking pun right there makes me want to shoot myself in the face. And also, the worst part about it is it gives away the entire story. I don't even have to read on.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not
Which I haven't to know that there's a
surprising.
snake in the toilet.
Right.
Surprise.
That would fuck you up though. If you think about it, you're like, why does my toilet keep fucking randomly flushing by itself? And you go check it out, and there's a fucking snake in your shit. Little goddamn.
So what's worse is that, like, I'd be okay if I wouldn't be okay, but it would be better if I saw the snake as I'm approaching the toilet. And I'm like, oh, God, there's a snake in there. What's worse is that you go to take a shit, and then you find out there's a snake in there.
Yeah.
Right. Like how far could this snake have fucked me?
Now that's something to write an article about.
Even if it didn't happen.
Well, they were saying the snake was slightly poisonous, but not enough to kill you. Like it could kill a little kid.
I mean, that's any one of us on a Friday night.
It's true.
Slightly poisonous, but not enough to kill you.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I will now teach you guys the difference between poison and venom. Ready?
Okay.
Venom is injected, i.e. a snake. Poison is ingested, i.e. a poisonous frog that you eat.
Oh.
Huh.
So snakes are venomous because they inject the venom into you.
It's a fun fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day.
I
What
never
you-
knew that.
So don't fuck that up again. All right, next.
Okay.
Oh, keep it Keep it moving.
I learned that at Pruis because a bunch of nerds around there. In a good way. I love you guys.
Who wants to take the bees?
Uh-oh. Yeah, okay, so I started reading down here a little bit, and Chevy comes in, and he goes, hey, guys, I thought of a bunch of positive, happy topics today. He's like, it was kind of hard. I had to look through quite a bit. So, Chevy, why don't you take us away on this next one?
Fuck you, to begin with. And 500,000 bees died in Iowa vandalism. 2 boys charged.
Well, them being charged, I guess, is good.
Yeah, I mean, this happened a few weeks ago.
I think we touched on it. Maybe it was off air.
Possible.
But-
I think
No, I
it was
think
off
this-
air, honestly.
Yeah.
It
I
might
think
have
I
been
saw
off
it
air as
somewhere.
well as the last time we talked about a topic like this. This is the second time this has happened to a lot of bees recently. The last time we talked about this, some kid ran through a beehive farm and just started pouring diesel on
That's
all
right.
of the,
We
on
did
all
talk
of the
about
Yeah,
beehives.
yep. There we go.
Diesel, it just melts the whole hive.
So these were
Because it
Or kerosene, sorry. Kerosene will just melt the whole hive. Like, you pour it on there and
just
it's like it's
eats
just
it?
yeah, it just eats it.
damn.
so these kids, Tori and Justin Engelhard.
We don't need to mention.
Oh wait, no.
Let's not make them famous.
It's a
No.
Wait, what famous?
No, these aren't the kids. These are the people. These are the
To our
people
moms.
who kept the bees, the beekeepers. They had about 50 beehives, I guess. The hives had about 500,000 bees.
Jesus.
They'd been overturned and hacked apart. The couple supply shed had been ransacked. The result was 500,000 dead bees and an estimated 60 grand in damaged property.
That's 5 million, by the way.
Huh?
5 million dead bees. There's
the-
a missing
Oh,
comma.
wow.
Whoa, yeah.
5 million dead bees and 60 grand.
the comment is in
damaged
the
property.
very wrong place there.
Right. Okay. Well, 5 million. But they had a 6-year-old honey business that pretty much went to shit after this. The couple said they knocked over every single hive, killing all the bees, wiped us out completely. So this was back in December 27th, and I guess they broke into their shit and just pretty much fucked everything up.
I mean, so in cases like this, I always have to stop and wonder, whenever it's a small business that gets attacked like this was a legitimate small business, and especially for farmers like out there, because they all of a sudden, that's a lot of fucking work to be doing, and so a lot of times they'll find help. All of a sudden you stop paying the help. The people that are coming to help you stop paying them, and all of a sudden, like, yeah, legally you have no idea who did this. You have no proof of anything like that. But I'm willing to bet even these people they know who did this.
Well,
I have a
Like,
different-
if they fit this scenario,
I have a different but similar theory in that they know who did it. Go ahead, Chevy.
the name of the boys, ages 12 and 13, are being withheld since they're juveniles.
So no, it's not that scenario.
Here's my
Yeah,
theory.
I don't think
well,
so.
I mean, I guess you could have like family work if you're underage, but here's my theory. There are rival farms, and I just watched a documentary about this. People who have bee farms don't just do bee farms. They have like wineries, and then in a spot on their winery, bee hives don't take up a lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
A few square feet, even for this many bees, and because their hives are vertical, so they can put probably thousands of bees in each little box thing. So it doesn't take up a ton of space. So I think what it is that there are rival farms growing things, whether it be bees producing honey, or maybe they have orchards or whatever it is, and this particular farm is out performing them, or they're doing well, or they're their competition or whatever. I think that the farm owners send their kids over.
They utilize the kids.
To go vandalize this. And the reason I think that it's people who are already involved in the bee farm industry is because if you're going to go kick over a bunch of beehives, do you know how many times you're going to get stung? So the point is that they probably have probably have the gear already to do it, meaning they already work for a bee farm.
It's ludicrous to think that they destroyed that amount of bees and all the farming stuff, all of this shit, and broke into the shed. It's ludicrous to think that they did all this without some knowing of how to do all of this.
That's
a very good
and
point.
equipment and the proper, because they wear the mask, so they don't. I mean, they would get annihilated by bees if they did this.
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
The article goes on to say,
well, what if it was at night?
Even then,
Dude, as soon as you kick it over, they're going crazy.
Right.
Not if it's at night.
Oh, 100%.
Even I get it that it gets below freezing here in Michigan, but other parts of the country still get cold. Even in 50, 60 degrees, a bee can't really fly around.
I guess I don't know for sure,
night
but
also?
I think if you're talking how many bees?
5 million.
5 million. I'm sure there's at least 1 million bees that are trying to.
Dude,
That's
if
a
it's in the
lot.
dead of night and it's a cold night, say it's even down south in place. Or where was this at? Iowa.
It just says that.
Iowa. So yeah, and I'm willing to bet that if it's at night, it gets down to 30, 40 degrees there.
I believe you, but I don't know enough about bee activity when it's cold enough to even speak on this.
I can't say
I don't
one
know.
or another.
I have
You
no
ever seen a bee
idea.
in the winter?
If you're a bee farmer and you're listening to the Leaf Lore podcast,
There we go, Matt.
Well, if the hives are set up, they're producing honey.
At the same time, they're saying that because they're younger, they're dodging pretty much a 10-year prison sentence and fines as much as $10,000 if they are convicted, which should be more.
All of a sudden,
be a lot more.
these competitive farmers are like, "Oh, 10 grand? Yeah, you just wiped out a five.
You just lost how much money?
a
Like
$60,000 competitor."
Worth it.
that's fucking ridiculous. And what, the kids go on probation and get a new fucking Xbox?
But actually, I don't know. Thinking about it, dude.
Seriously.
Hold on.
we're going to get ice cream, Belly.
Really quick, this is only $60,000.
What?
I mean, when you're talking business, 60 grand is nothing.
Okay.
So I mean, it's like competitive over 60 grand.
$6,000 is a lot of money, my friend.
But you got to
To a
think.
farmer?
You got to think though.
Maybe it's a small farm.
Like
that's
Steve
that's
said,
something that's not coming back right away, though. That's not something you be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah,
Or
we'll
ever.
rebuild
True.
type deal.
I
You
mean-
just lost 60 grand. That's saying a
As
lot.
somebody who runs a small
Yeah.
business, I can say that any amount of money. So let's say I'm relatively small. If we got hit with $60, and it doesn't sound like a lot, we obviously do okay. It would suck. I'd be pissed that we lost $60. You know, when an employee loses a tool, even though it's $12, it hurts our bottom line. So and now they have to recover. They can't just go buy another bee farm. You
you got
Right.
to think about the bees themselves though too, is because like Steve said, they could be doing more things than just doing the bees. They could have an orchard. Now the orchard won't grow as well as it did before because they don't have the bees pollinating everything and doing all that
true.
too.
Absolutely right.
It can be.
That's really
It's
true.
a huge combining effect of everything of that. leaving.
Also, not to mention that honeybees are starting to become endangered.
yeah.
There's that whole.
That's
fucking
what kicked
thing.
me in the nuts about it, because everybody's been talking about how fucking the bees are pretty much just getting the fuck out of here.
Right, and that's not good. They're definitely a big contributor to our whole ecosystem.
Absolutely. You know what the morbid? Well, first of all, I had to buy honey for a recipe the other day, and I had no idea how expensive honey was. It was like $6 or $7 for one of them little typical bottles with the bear on the front of it. $7 for a fucking bottle of honey. So I got the $3 one that was tiny, but I mean it lasts a while. Whatever. All right. What I was gonna say is the morbid truth about us consuming or gathering, producing, and eating honey is that the reason that the bees do it is they collect the nectar from the flowers and they put them in those little combs, and then they seal the combs off so that they can have a food supply for their colony. So we're stealing their food to eat it ourselves. Isn't that strange?
Well, I
It's
mean,
not like, they don't just shit out honey. They actually create combs.
it's a paste.
Store it, and then they seal it off. I watched a whole documentary on this. They seal it off so that they can go back to it and eat it to sustain their colony.
They pack it in there with their saliva, though. isn't
Yes,
it?
they mix it with their saliva. as
Yeah.
well.
So do they just start packing it?
Well, no,
together?
Chevy, I'm sorry. I think the combs are made out of saliva. The honey itself is just nectar from the flowers.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was just kind of packed in there.
I could be wrong, but there's shit, I think it's called Rotten. I can't remember. There's a new documentary on Netflix. It's a multi-series documentary, and one of them was the bee farming problems that they're having. But you think there's a honey shortage or a bee shortage? Watch this show. They show 55-gallon drums of honey day in and day out. Wow. Thousands of drums day in and day out.
Like diamond, like some diamond shit.
It's
like we don't have any diamond shit.
Bees are dying off, but it's not like you can't go to the store and buy 15 bottles of honey right now if you want.
That's true too.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
I foresee coming bee drones.
Well,
especially for species like bees that are so vital to
you'll never be able to
Earth.
Produce a natural nectar from that though, a honey.
Well, it's still doing the exact. You mimic the exact same. So bees are doing an activity that produces honey, is what you're explaining.
Yes, but they
go collect. They lick.
Chevy
and
might be right in that they mix a bit of it with their saliva. So I don't think that you can just go to a flower, squeeze it, and get honey out of it.
All right. So what I mean, but all right. So I guess what I'm getting at is imagine an animal that literally had the same. You can use chemicals to produce the same type of saliva to produce the same kind of combs that produce, and then all of a sudden you program these drones to go to flowers, cross pollinate, and bring back pollen.
Yeah.
If you can
imagine a world with synthetic animals that help keep our ecosystem the same.
That's interesting. That'd be really cool.
Our biosphere.
I bet you the honey would taste like charcoal, but fuck it.
You're right. You might all of a sudden we taste honey and be like, oh, well, remember when we had real honey?
Right.
Honestly,
back in my day.
Remember when it wasn't crunchy?
Since we've become a people that actually are aware of ourselves, like we've been emulating us as people for as long as you can think of. Like you look at things like The Sims, like why is that entertaining? Because we're emulating life constantly.
True.
And that's a big thing in science right now and in technology, because we can emulate those things and it's all coming to life, and it's fascinating and it's really fun. But what is the fucking up part is that we can fuck that up too. We can emulate it in the wrong way, and like you said, the honey tastes gross, or maybe it gives you cancer, or like there's so many things that we are unaware of. But for me, it's a lot of fun. It is, because we do emulate life so much as a people that it's just
even goes back
so much fun.
Our natural desire to create, our natural desire to procreate, have sex, make babies, keep our species going. I feel like it stems from that, the desire to create, to duplicate, to make that other intelligence or whatever.
I mean, with being masters of our own environment type deal, bring it back again. Like we play The Sims. Like I'm washing the dishes as a little fucking person that looks like me. Why is that entertaining? Because we're emulating what we're doing, but we're in complete control of it. And I think
you're playing God.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I think with technology and stuff, it's going to come in and it's going to be bigger and bigger, because we are utilizing a lot of our resources, and we're going to have to find new ways to do all these things. Like we're going to have to find out how to live in a different way in the future.
Other than the coal industry and the oil industry, we are literally finding perfect executions for energy consumption and, storage. We are coming to a time in humanity where literally oil and coal are sitting here. They're so far behind where we are with energy storage and energy production for things like, solar or even hydrogen.
I don't feel like that's a technology problem. I feel like that's a money problem.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a society problem, ultimately.
Right.
Yeah, it's a society. Here's something that's really cool on the exact same point to piggyback off that. My mom's doing volunteer work for, what's the organization that takes food drops it off at like homeless shelters?
Food bank?
Meals on Wheels?
Not Meals on Wheels, that's for elderly, but something along the lines of the food bank, where they go around, I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, and they take the day olds and shit like that, like the day old bread and shit like that.
Is it, it's not VOA?
I don't think it's VOA.
Anyway,
Soup
whatever.
Kitchen, maybe?
No, whatever organization that is, she's doing volunteer work for them. And a new thing that they're doing is they go around and they collect like day old bread from Jimmy John's or wherever. A bunch of places do it, and they were starting to have, this organization was starting to get an abundance of surplus of food to the point where they had to throw it away, which is ironic because the whole point of them picking up the old food was to, give it away to people who were hungry. So they couldn't give it away fast enough, and it was going bad. So they got a hold of MSU, and apparently there's a place at MSU right now that is taking old food and converting it into energy.
Oh, wow.
Old
that's cool.
Food. So we can basically, really, how neat would it be to power a house on your scraps? You know,
That'd be awesome.
it probably takes a shitload of food, but
Is
Honestly,
no one else
no,
thinking
the-
back to the fucking Back to the Future?
Oh,
Back
yeah,
to the
when-
Future where he
yeah.
shoves
What's the car?
banana
What's
We're
peels
there.
and
that?
stuff.
What's
Yeah.
that name of that car?
we're there. DeLorean.
DeLorean.
There are people who are essentially doing this all around Lansing, even.
It's just cool that MSU is doing it on a mass
Yeah,
scale.
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna do like a building powered off of fucking old food.
That's cool.
You know?
That is really cool.
76 miles an hour.
77.
84, 77 was it?
80, I think it's 80.6.
It was 80 something.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
80
like,
something.
yeah.
I'm talking about the
86.
speed from Back to the Future.
Yeah, I
right?
think it was
Okay, so I don't know what it
86 or
was.
I think it's 80 point something.
I'm Googling it.
88.6.
All right, let's all guess.
Google, better Google.
Whoever gets it wrong is off the podcast forever.
Right. Okay, so I was watching this.
Last shot.
86.5. 86.5. That's what I'm gonna guess.
87
He's a fibber.
So curious.
actual retail price.
Oh, 88 miles an hour.
I was close.
What'd I say, 86.5?
All of us are off the podcast. All right, guys, it was fun.
I said 87.
We
I'm
had a
not
good
close.
run.
$1.
No, you had to get exact. Speaking of that, Price is Right is coming to Soaring Eagle.
I saw that.
Oh,
And I'm
sweet.
going. I think it's this month.
You going?
Well, I want to, and I'm in serious talks about it.
Me and
because
Amber
Brad,
did that before. It was a lot of fun. There.
Did you really?
Jerry Springer was the host.
No
wow.
way.
Yeah.
No way.
How do I not remember that?
Wait a minute. Can
It
you?
was 2014.
I know we're getting way off topic here,
Weird.
but how was it? Tell us everything about it.
Oh, dude, it was great. Like they actually started calling people up on stage and to
like they do.
yeah, exactly. It was like the whole show except it wasn't on TV.
Chevy Chevlin,
why-
come on down.
Yeah, that sounded exactly like it.
Why wasn't it on TV?
I don't know. I mean, it was Soaring Eagle.
Just wasn't a broadcast.
Yeah,
This one, I
yeah.
think. Oh, maybe it won't be. I don't know. I guess I have no idea
I probably won't be. It won't,
Okay.
and it won't be the
because they do that like the LA studios, probably the on TV.
Bob
one.
Barker. Was that his? was that
Okay,
the
he's
guy?
been retired for a long time. Now it's Drew Carey.
Yeah,
Drew Carey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So disappointing.
Price is Wrong, bitch. Sound clip that. All right.
Jesus, this sounds so much better. Matt reached over and did something to my mic, and now I sound
there's
so much
like
better.
a sweet
I try.
there's a sweet spot
Penis?
in the distance. Yeah.
Mm.
Like if Cameron, if you can fit your dick in between it, you're good to go.
Yep. That's what I
Perfect.
just did.
Perfect.
Just stuck my.
That's a little bit big, though.
Thank you.
I want to go home.
For our
Thanks for
listeners,
the ego boost, though, guys.
for our listeners, the gap is about half an inch. Okay, next subjecto. 500,000 bees die in. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's talk about that again. Let's talk about those
Grumpy
dead bees.
Cat wins $700,000 in a federal case over his own identity.
Before we get into this,
His owners, of course.
Okay, thank you. That was my first question.
Right.
What the fuck is a cat going to do with any amount of money? $1 or $1 million? So his owners win $700,000 for what? I still don't make her smile, but Grumpy Cat has won some scratch. California jury gave the Fury Frown Queen more than $700,000 this week in a federal lawsuit over the use of her identity. According to documents obtained by the Washington Post, owner Tabitha, that's ironic, she has a cat name, and she's the owner,
Right.
won
Tabby.
the lawsuit, first filed 3 years ago, blah, blah, blah. She signed.
It's worth the wait.
Ironically, while the world-famous feline Grumpy Cat and her valuable brand are most often invoked in a tongue-in-cheek fashion, defendants...
Do you see what the whole case is over?
I don't know what that word
All right,
is.
so the case, Grumpy Cat, the owner, signed over rights to help sell this Grumpy Cat Grumpachino drink, right? But then the person who sells that Grumpachino drink started taking Grumpy Cat and throwing it on all of their drinks.
So Grumpy Frappuccino, Grumpy...
Exactly.
I see.
It became all of a sudden they started trying to use Grumpy Cat as like their brand, their icon, you know?
Interesting. So
So-
I hope. Well, I'm glad that they won because when you let's say somebody came to us and was like, "Hey guys, could we make a plug in our next podcast?" And then they start their podcast and they're like, "All right, guys, welcome to the Wait What podcast." I'd be like, "Hey, dude, no, we just said you could plug us. You didn't say you could use our fucking name."
Right.
Yeah. So I hope that they had. Well, clearly they won the case, so I assume they had some pretty decent document or.
I mean, I feel like
$700,000 worth.
it's all there. Obviously, it's like, hey, well, you've obviously been doing this, so give us money about it.
Was that called a copyright infringement or something? I would guess. Is Grumpy Cat copywritten?
Well, it's literally it's
I
just
would assume it was
breaking.
a trademark.
Yeah,
infringement
its
of some sort.
likeliness was used.
Thank you. I've seen Grumpy Cat in so many memes I can't even count.
But
at this
memes are kind of free use.
point.
type deal.
fair use.
Yeah.
Fair use
Because it's used as a parody and not a monetary
Right.
right.
gain. Okay, I see. Interesting.
Like we're not had like Wait What podcast, and we got fucking Grumpy Cat as our thing. You know,
Not yet. You give me a minute.
So this kind of reminds me of frivolous lawsuits, although I don't think this is a frivolous one. But I bet you the next thing that I bring up, the first thing that's going to pop into your guys' mind is, oh my god, I can't believe she sued over that. And let me change your minds, okay? You guys remember the case when the McDonald's, and if you know where I'm going with this, don't spoil it. But the case with the McDonald's drive-through lady spilled hot coffee on herself, and then she sued McDonald's because the coffee was hot.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It sounds ridiculous, right? Have you any of you guys ever looked into this?
Yeah.
A little bit.
You know about it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for the people out there that don't, you know why it's bullshit, right? Like the fact that people think it's a bullshit case, even though it's really not.
Yeah.
She was like 80 years old, and the coffee was like 190 degrees, something absolutely absurd, and she had like third-degree burns from it. So it's like...
Not only that, she spilt it in her lap,
Right.
and she was in the hospital for months because her shit got fucked.
And when
Like,
you're
her-
older, your immune system does not recover
Her
nearly as
leg-
quickly.
like-
By shit, Chevy means like literally her genitals.
Like, yeah, her
shit got
legs-
I just
her-
saw her in her thighs. I didn't see her.
No, her legs, you spill it in your lap, you think about that.
Sure.
Like boiling hot coffee almost. And like, she's old, you know, she probably wasn't like rolling around about it. Like, she destroyed the lower half of her body.
It's just funny because when I first heard about that in like 7th grade or whatever it was like, oh my god,
Coffee's hot, oh
where's-
my gosh, you know.
Of
like-
course, coffee's hot, dumbass.
Yeah.
But then you really look at the case, it's like, and by the way, after this, the lawsuit was settled, McDonald's had to put a cap on how hot they made their coffee,
Apparently that
which
was
is a
part of
good
the
idea.
bigger-
Yeah.
I mean, I put ice in my coffee as it is.
So do I.
Just so I can drink it now.
McDonald's
It's like-
coffee is still hot as fuck.
It's like, oh, I know, it's like
Anytime
160
I go
degrees.
there, yeah,
I know, I
it's
hate it.
hot as
Some people like it
fuck.
like that though.
Yeah.
But this is like them serving fries in a vat of hot fry oil.
Right. It's all bubbling and shit while you're
Here's your
selling
fries.
There you go.
Like, okay. Yeah, that's crazy.
Burn
It
piece
just
of
it just
skin
reminded me of that because when you read this at first, you're like, okay, Grumpy Cat meme, are you fucking serious? But she kind of got
It makes sense though.
The
I mean,
McDonald's,
like,
the McDonald's lady also, she was just trying to get her medical bills paid for at first.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was it.
They refused to pay him,
Yeah.
and so that's when
Yeah.
a lawyer stepped in and was like, no, we're going to get
No,
your
we're-
medical
we're
bills
getting
paid
more
for
than
and then
that.
some.
Yeah.
Like,
that was
You got to
close.
pay for me.
right. One of the last sentences here is that the Grumpy Cat phenomenon turned merchandising machine. I didn't know that. I mean, I assume,
Oh, yeah.
excuse me, maybe she monetized some stuff off of it, but to use the term merchandising machine, she's probably pretty rich off that shit.
dude, go to a Hot Topic or a Spencer's, it'll be Grumpy
Right.
Cat shit. A whole wall.
Everywhere.
I guess,
A
yeah.
little section
So
of
you
it.
think she gets a kickback
Yeah,
from all of that?
everything.
Oh, everything.
So
yeah.
it is trademarked then.
Yep.
Notebooks, fucking pencil,
you gonna
like
trademark-
anything you can think of.
She's got an accountant.
You can trademark an animal's face. I didn't know that.
Well, it's just, you can trademark, copyright anything you want to. Like, what is it?
I'm copywriting this podcast.
you know what
You guys
Birdman-
all owe me money. Wow, yeah, I believe it.
Birdman, one of his quotes is like, talking about
the rapper?
Yeah, the phrase bling bling.
I remember. He's like,
He's made comments like, I should have copyrighted the shit out of that.
yeah,
You're
I'd
fired.
be a billionaire. by
You're
now.
fired.
You're fired,
Yeah,
yeah.
Donald Trump copyrighted "You're fired." Like, and was Paris Hilton?
He did copyright.
Yeah, he
that?
did. And
Does that
Paris
mean I have to
Hilton.
bleep that out?
Paris Hilton copyrighted "That's hot." The phrase "That's hot."
Yes.
So
Dumb or ingenious, you choose.
Dumb. Yeah, I choose dumb.
I choose ingenious. I choose entrepreneurial American spirit. God damn it!
I'd be interested enough to hear how the return was compared to the legal fees to do that. I guess also I'd like to hear something that was actually true. I feel like that might have just been a 90s rumor.
Yeah, you pull a lot of shit out of your ass.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Heavily.
Words too.
All right, let's get this last comment. I keep calling them comments. Topic.
Well, they're written, so they kind of are comments, I guess.
We're commenting on them. Doesn't it?
Fair enough.
All right, one more.
One more.
Go ahead.
Who's taking it?
What's our time at?
Guys, I keep saying all of them. Someone else. I mean, all right.
Oh, I'll say it. No, I got it. I'll take the lead. Mailman in Italy stashed half ton of mail in his garage, postal police say. First of all, I love this guy already. I think it's hilarious. And also stashing the closed mailboxes, that's your first mistake. Open everything and get rid of the evidence, you dumbass. Then you just have I'm not condoning stealing by any means. I just think it's hilarious that somebody definitely ships a pink dildo to their girlfriend, and she never got it and it wound up in this guy's garage.
How did you not open it? Like,
There's
if I had,
1,260 pounds of mail.
how did you not
Jesus.
open a single fucking thing?
Wait a minute, this is from
Italy,
so that pound might be like their...
What's 563 kilograms, which is equal to
Oh, I see.
Okay.
All right,
1,260
so
pounds.
If I learn how to read, maybe.
say that money orders take up, say, 0.5%.
You can't cash money orders without...
Listen.
Okay.
Hear me out. Though,
Okay.
So say you have how many letters was this?
1,260 pounds.
All right. So let's say for every 1 pound, it's 16 letters.
40,000
right?
pieces
1
of
ounce
mail.
per letter.
Said the past 8 years.
Right. Okay. So see, he's got literally 1 billion letters in his garage. Right. So 0.5%
It
of
cannot
those.
be literally a billion.
I mean, all right, it's a very large number.
Okay, I thought you meant
My-
like actually a billion.
I'm trying to point out. I'm trying to just law of averages. 0.5% of those are going to be money
He's got
orders.
a shitload of money.
Right.
orders. Yeah.
0.5% of those are money orders.
Probably.
And then say maybe 0.5% of those are money orders without the name on them because someone doesn't know how to fill them out and doesn't think you need to.
How about people who mail cash, which they do all the time?
0.25%. I'm willing to bet there is cash in there. Maybe a birthday card
Well,
with
now
a
there's
$20
nothing
bill.
because his dumbass got caught.
I don't know. How the fuck did you not open those, dude? If you're really going to take them and just hoard them, why the fuck did you
It
not
must have
open
been a
them?
fetish of his. He's like, I love boxes. I just want to look at boxes. all the
There
time."
was a picture.
That's why I started working at the post
of,
office.
like his garage, like online. It seemed like he had like a slightly addictive personality, like a hoarding personality about it.
Okay.
He kept like stupid shit though, like address books type deal. Not address books.
Maybe he had a what?
I like hoarding notebooks.
Not
I like notebooks.
like the yellow pages and
I like
stuff.
backpacks.
He kept that
directories.
stuff.
Directories.
Yeah, and like white pages, yellow pages, like a bunch of stuff that was just like, oh fuck this, people don't need it. They just got one type deal. Or like, I didn't really feel like doing this today. And like, I get it, I understand it. I mean, it's a dick move and it's a horrible way to do your job. But like thinking on the other side of it, like I've been waiting for a piece of mail for how fucking long, and it's just been sitting there like that. That's enough to irk the fuck out of me.
I mean, after a few months, you pretty much assume it's just lost in the mail.
Yeah.
yeah, there's everyone expects that now because it's a human built system.
So what if lost in the mail? Like that's a thing. Like that's a saying. What if that just means the mailman stole it?
It's they were talking about New
Your
York
check's in
doing
the
the
mail.
same thing.
Really?
Yeah, if you go farther into the article, it's talking about New York, and they've got 40,000 pieces of mail
In
still-
2014.
Yeah,
That was just a little while
still
ago.
fucking not quite there yet.
And then they said in North Carolina, a 53-year-old pled guilty to delaying and detaining more than 80,000 letters and parcels. That's in 2015.
All right.
The more I read into this, the more I think that he just did this because he hates people, and he hates.
Sounds like a great guy.
and he's like, you know what? Fuck these guys. I don't want them to get their mail. I'm gonna hoard as much as humanly possible of it because listen to the things that they.
He does
found.
sound sour.
Yeah,
Like reading
like
the
a
Screw
article.
you, Mr. McFeely.
So here's the things that they intentionally listed on here: utility bills. There's what can you do with that? Obviously nothing. Bank statements, can't really do much with that. They usually only include the last 4 numbers on your bank statements. Old phone books, can't do shit with that. Political propaganda, who cares about that?
Thank you.
So he's just like fuck it to
Thanks
the
for
I think
keeping
he's
that.
Thanks for
just
keeping
saying
that.
like,
Appreciate it.
fuck these people. I don't care if they get their mail or not. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Have you guys heard of the term "going postal"?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know how that? Do you know where that came from?
Yes.
Cameron, do you?
No,
Vaguely,
actually, I have no
vaguely.
idea.
So one of the worst shootings in United States history was a guy that worked for the Postal Service that was so fed up with his job, or he got fired, or something along those lines. Walked in the post office with a gun, and just started blowing people's heads off. And so that they coined the term "going postal" when you freak out, basically.
See, I've heard that, but I don't know about the actual event that happened that led to that. To be honest,
Google it.
I have tried
Google it.
to get a job
Just
at
type
the
in
post
going-
office,
where does going
and
postal-
a lot of the questions were, how do you feel about people, like all this, like,
I mean, you gotta be a.
are you gonna
people
go
person.
crazy?
right? You gonna go crazy? Like, they might as well just ask.
How
it,
many guns do you own?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're
Have you ever killed anyone?
working as a postal or a damn it post
Holy
office
shit.
person,
Yeah,
like
read the details. That's crazy. After Chevy's done.
you have to be a people person. You're dropping people's mail off,
Yeah.
you're gonna see them regularly. Like, you gotta be a people
I don't know. My buddy Brad's wife, worked for the post office for like the first 5 years that I knew her, and I would ask her what her job was like, and it was the most of what she talked about. First of all, you got to think most people are at work during the day when your mail's delivered, so you're not gonna have a ton of human interaction. Of course, the older people that are there might come out, you might see them, but in the winter, everybody's at work. You're just drudging through the snow, trying not to get your little truck stuck.
Yeah.
By the way, there's no heater or AC in those trucks. You just have to keep you either have to keep the windows shut or the windows open.
Oh, wow.
They have the shittiest, smallest tires. I mean, look how small they are, right?
Right.
So the most of what she said about her job was that
It's
it
like my
fucking sucked.
It sounds like
She's
it.
like, I mean, there wasn't a lot of human interaction. It's basically same thing over and over and trying not to get your trucks. Oh, and by the way, they ask you to work overtime all the time. They ask you to work Sundays. They ask you to stay late. You don't go home until your route's done.
I guess even thinking back on
It's
it,
a shit job.
You'd think of like an old-timey mailman, like the milkman almost type deal. It's not even like that.
Right.
Like,
Hey, Mr.
I get
McFeely.
You got it.
that. What's with you and the McFeely people today?
It's the mailman from
From what?
Mr. Rogers.
Is it?
Yeah, Mr. McFeely.
Oh,
was
well,
the
I feel
mailman for Mr.
dumb
Rogers.
now.
All my jokes have been going
I
like,
love
over these
Mr.
guys'
Rogers.
heads.
Next time you open your mouth, think about it first, okay, Chevy?
Nope. Gonna get some Netflix passwords about it.
All right,
So,
let's read-
anyways,
let's read the-
going postal in American English slang means becoming extremely and uncontrollably angry, often to the point of violence, and usually in a workplace environment. This expression derives from a series of incidents from 1986 onward in which the United States Postal Service workers shot and killed managers, fellow workers, and members of the police or
Yeah.
general public in acts of mass murder.
Yeah.
Damn.
Between 1970 and 1997, more than 40 people were killed by current or former employees in at least 20 incidents
At the post
of
office.
workplace rage.
Jesus.
From the post office.
From the post
specifically.
office. Specifically.
Yeah.
USPS.
I only knew about one incident, but wow.
I don't like how it says current or former. Like current? Like they still work there? No.
Yeah.
My
currently
mailman
work
killed a
there.
bunch of people, but he's okay now.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
he really turned his life around.
We didn't really like Mark from HR anyway. Yeah, so that's where that shit comes from.
All right, guys, poop break.
All right, fellers. I'm gay.
And that was that kind of break.
I just met happy, guys. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
oh,
yeah.
okay.
Whimsical and happy.
That's okay then.
I'm happy.
All right, so we're back with you on the Upside Down. We're going to do hat topics. Everybody reach into my warm sack.
I swear,
You are back.
if I get the same one again.
From outer space.
I feel like we always get the same one, and we just don't remember.
This one's different.
Something
Yay!
with that look up on your face.
I got a different one.
I got the folded up one. I think I had this the last time.
By the way, quick shout out, Mom. Hi, I know you might listen to this. Hello, I love you. Chevy's mom.
Quick shout out to everybody, honestly, that is listening right now. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta start talking to more than just our moms.
Oh, dude.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's true. It's kind of a
Our
meme.
mom started.
We
this.
love
kind
you
of a meme
guys.
at this
Yeah,
point.
but you know that already.
But-
started.
What about that girl?
It's
Who was
done.
that girl that either posted on Facebook or Instagram that said that she had a long drive? She listened to 4 episodes. What is her
Oh,
name?
that's my cousin,
What's her name?
Veronica.
Veronica.
Yep.
You are awesome. Thank
You're
you
awesome.
so much.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to her.
You're awesome.
You listen to us more than I do.
Literally.
that was a joke. I actually listened to us a lot.
We're
It's
hoping
just
that
the
you
same
tell
episode.
We're hoping
over
that you
and
tell
over.
everyone at GRCC how awesome we are.
Thank you so much, Veronica. That was really cool of you to give us a shout out like that. Glad you enjoyed it.
I
Keep laughing.
sleep listening to the podcast, and then I have like a body blanket that I call Wait What, and that's pretty much my life right now.
Speaking of body blankets,
I have a peacock that I call Cameron. That's it. He goes on the planes with
it's
me.
beautiful.
I'm just sitting here staring at Matt, waiting for him to look at me.
Son of a
Eye
bitch.
contact.
Have you guys heard of these weighted blankets? They weigh like 40 or 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And they're supposed
Yes.
to relieve anxiety.
Yes.
Right.
I actually kind of want one of those.
I
think
okay.
they would induce it.
Induce anxiety.
I ordered the 40-pound one, not the 200-pound one.
So I had a blanket that was heavy as fuck, and it's just comforting.
Was it a weighted one or just a normal heavy blanket?
just a normal heavy ass blanket? And like this was like you know, like you had, like, okay, I had my comforter, and this was heavier than my comforter. Like,
Gotcha.
it weighed my fucking comforter down.
Did it help you sleep?
Oh, yeah. Because,
Really?
okay, so, like, you know, when you're getting ready to go to sleep and you kind of curl up against your pillow, and it's like that support that's there.
Yeah.
It feels like there's support all around you.
Oh, wow.
With heavy like there's everything you can tuck into. It feels like a weight on you that just makes you more comfortable.
Almost like you're being cuddled by
Yeah.
another human being.
Exactly.
So these blankets, by the way, are wicked expensive.
Yes.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Hundreds
over
of
$100. And
I
was
worked
like,
on a website for a lady that does vests, weighted vests.
for the same
type of
thing,
yeah.
anxiety reducing.
Yep. They're about $120 some dollars. a piece,
Interesting.
120,
You know what else helps with
130.
that? Xanax.
Yes. Liquor.
Alcohol helps with that.
It's like I'm being cuddled everywhere.
PCP.
I feel all warm inside.
All right, I'm not going first this time. Who hasn't gone first ever? Matt, you've never gone first, have you?
Matt always going first. I'll go first.
Go first, Chevy.
No, don't have Chevy do it.
no, not me.
Not that guy.
Not once, not ever.
All right, so it's back to Matt.
All right, man, let's start.
Matt, go first.
I was just joking, Chevy. Kick us off.
All right, okay. I got favorite.
You want to ask something that's like so open that we can talk about it for a long time.
Right.
Because the first thing that comes to mind is like, what's your favorite tattoo shop in Lansing? And then he's like,
This one. Okay,
Liquid.
sounds good.
And they're like, all right, next time.
He would be. I know it would not be Lansing. Or just grumble then.
No.
What's your favorite whiskey out of what we've drinking?
Yeah, look over at the whiskeys and
We've
assess.
already had the whiskey topic, just to put that
But we
out
haven't
there.
asked you, though.
I mean,
Actually, yeah,
we
have
already
asked
talked
before.
about liquor and like already talked about favorite whiskey. I
true.
feel like that's a crap
True.
over
All
question.
right, well, for the record, mine's Buffalo Trace. But anyways, moving on.
Gentleman Jack gave me heartburn.
Next.
I honestly like Knob Creek a lot.
Knob Creek?
Yeah, that was.
What's your... All right, are we really doing this then, the whiskey thing?
I mean, that's my answer.
Yeah, fuck it. It's your opinion. It's
Yeah.
literally- everyone. Other people have been asked this
Yeah.
question, but you have been asked it.
Fair. The
And
Knob
we started
Creek.
talking about it.
Do you like it because it's high proof or what?
Well, one, it's high proof, and two, it has a little bit of burn to it. Like it lets you.
You enjoy
know-
that.
Yeah, it lets you know that you're actually drinking.
That's
it.
unique because a lot of people, I think, who enjoy a good whiskey like it's smooth, right?
See, I do enjoy that, but I do like a little bit of like, tickle on the balls a little bit. Like, hey, guess what?
That's
You're
actually-
drinking some high proof whiskey.
That's a good way to put it.
That's just me tickling your balls while you're drinking. it.
yeah,
I
I
wondered what
forget
that
about
was.
that.
Yeah, under the table.
What do you think of this, Chevy? Ooh, you're raping me.
You're raping me.
No, but-
Soundboard. We haven't used a soundboard in forever.
But I had a big old fucking Demogorgon dick.
Wrong one.
Hey, I got.
You're raping me.
There we go.
it is. What do you label those, by the way? Like, what's the one you just played? And please tell me it's rape.
Raping me.
Oh, wow.
And that's a button.
The other one's Demogorgon Dick.
Nice.
This is my favorite.
Fucking fantastic,
There we
Steve.
go.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Hell of a question.
I get okay. So ever since that soundbite, I get mean with this all the fucking time. I will say something totally innocent, not even like a big deal, Like I'll give my feedback on a little Facebook thread.
OMW.
The response from Matt today, fucking fantastic, Steve. Like, damn it, man. I missed one episode. Never live it down. All right. well,
Grand.
Speaking of dicks.
what's your favorite type of dick, Chevy? No, I'm just kidding.
Whiskey though, and you said
Whiskey.
Knob Creek.
Oh, I could ask I could ask a really weird question, but I'd probably
Is it opinion?
technically
Do
yes.
Do it.
up.
I vote do it.
It's really personal, Chevy. So you can
Chevy,
choose.
do you vote do it?
You can choose not to answer this.
Sure.
A, and then the next disclaimer is going to be: don't ever ask me this question.
It's a democracy, and it's 3 out of 4.
All right.
What's your favorite type of porn?
Oh.
Category. Just pick one category. Don't get all fucking philosophical. Just if you're like, I need to crank one out right now. What are you typing?
For like I just want to get get it over with, get it done.
Yeah.
You're taking a poop.
Is it anime?
This has got to be hard to answer because I think there's something boiling inside. You're like, should I really say this? Should I really say
It's
this?
usually like big tittied pog.
Pog for the non-porn watchers.
Fat
is
ass white girl.
Yep. So you like the
big-
voluptuous one.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm all about.
Is there
the
a
bigger
point where
girls.
you look that kind of stuff up and then all of a sudden there's somebody who we might consider, let's say, obese?
See, okay, there was a fine line between a pog and a fat girl.
I think the difference is that they have a thin waist, right? Comparatively to their assets.
No, for me,
Assets.
there's yes, the waist
Yeah.
is a big part,
The hourglass shape.
but at the same time, it's like, okay, like maybe you got a little bit of tummy, but you got some huge titties and a really big ass.
cancels it out.
Yeah, exactly. you gotta look at what you're actually like. Hey, those titties are huge as fuck. Like even if you do got a little bit of gut, I'm all about it. I'm sorry, you know.
But I'm so glad that you softballed that answer because I was really worried we were gonna go down some rabbit hole here.
Rabbit hole.
Have you ever heard of? Is it Rule 34? Is that what it's called?
Rule 34? No.
Google it, please, so we can carry on this conversation. Basically, the rule says, I may be getting the number wrong, but basically the rule says that if there is something that exists, there is a porn fetish for it. So, for instance, have you guys ever seen that classic, right, but it's a rule, though. Like, it's an actual rule. I believe it's called Rule 34. So, have you ever seen that classic Roger Rabbit movie from the early 1990s? Maybe it was even 1980s.
Yeah,
There's a porn for that.
Yeah, she's big into porn.
Have you ever seen...
You see her everywhere.
Do you remember that, what's that gorilla that died that everybody's like, rest in peace? What's his- Harambe.
Harambe.
There's a porn for that.
Wow.
What?
So read this. Generally
Generally-
accepted. Go ahead.
No, you do it.
I can't really read it from here.
Generally accepted internet rule that states that pornography or sexually related material exists for any
conceivable subject.
object. Oh,
Subject.
subject.
That's the important part. Any conceivable subject.
So why wouldn't it be?
Oh, because when you start talking about ceiling fans in Rule 34, it gets fucking weird.
Okay, hold
It
on.
gets fucking
Ceiling fans.
ceiling fans.
Okay,
What is that?
Additionally-
any conceivable object. Go ahead and finish it.
Additionally,
Absolutely.
See, you said object too. You just said object.
Sorry.
No, I said object the first
Right,
time
right.
too, but you said,
Subject.
yeah, it's subject.
Hold on.
Obviously.
Will you bring that back up so Matt can finish reading that? Because I'm curious about the next part.
Additionally, it's accepted that the rule itself has limitations and cannot be too specific on the content of the item in question.
Right. So you can't say
Item
like
in
a fan is fucking a toaster, but there may be actual fan porn or something.
Okay.
And I'm using really strange examples here.
Pull
But-
up the Onion browser. Let's see some.
But how about you just click on images for Rule 34? That'll give us some
Oh
ideas.
man,
No, I'm serious.
I mean,
my Google account won't like that. No.
what-
Neither
I
will
mean,
the government.
like if we can imagine it, why should
Here we go. This is all right. Thomas
What
the
is
Thomas
this?
Train. Okay, all right. Here we go. Thomas the Tank Engine being fucked by what? Star Wars fucking
Yeah,
ship.
Prepare to jump to light speed.
Oh no!
It's hilarious, dude. What else we got?
Do I have to put
What's
these
this
in the
one?
show notes?
Abso-fuck. Just type in Rule 34. That way
No
people have
matter
to
what
Google
it is, it's someone's sexual fetish. No
Plugging in a
exceptions.
phone, and the
Yep.
phone looks kind
my
of scared of
Rule 34.
Oh,
A phone being raped by a plug. Yeah.
These are all cartoons, by the way.
gotta get
Just
that in
letting
here.
you all know.
Yeah, most of them are because
Pirates
it's
of the
more
Caribbean,
practical.
Pirates.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's sexy cow.
Pokemon. I'm no.
Pokemon.
Let's
Don't ruin Pokemon for me.
let's just stay.
We need to move
in
that mirror,
the
by the way.
upside down and look at a bunch of porno. Okay, let's go on to
It's
the next
sweeter than
question.
cake.
Next question.
What is happening here?
Oh man.
Next question.
Next question.
Next
Come on.
hat topic. It's on you,
What's wrong,
Steve.
Chevy? You don't like that one?
I mean,
It's a dead meme. All right.
Getting a little turned on. You gotta turn it off.
I do.
trying to hide my boner right now.
As soon as I saw that phone in that plug,
I
that
bet
plug
he's getting
plugged
plugged
that
in.
phone.
We should probably start doing different things in the hats because we're starting to get the same ones over and over.
Ah, true. We should
Anyways.
be more specific and shit.
All right, so last night.
Well, that's my answer
this
to
is
this
episode
one.
10. If there's any time for a big change as far as us first starting up
Next
this show
episode, yeah.
and doing it, we've looked at 10 episodes.
Hold
This is
on.
our 10th one, or we
If,
looked
if
at
you
9
listeners
episodes.
have any ideas, come on, send
Say-
them.
Please bring ideas.
Say we put actual specific, like even if it's not our listeners, we put specific questions when we think of them type deal and we put them in the hat.
Like a mystery topic.
Right. But it's something like, hey, I actually want to know if it's from us and it's not from a fan, we can still put it
Whatever
put it
the
in there.
topic is.
Right.
And sometimes it could be like a what the fuck? What did this really happen?
Let-
Yup, it happened.
Let's
now
talk.
talk about
Let's
it.
talk logistics off the air though.
For sure.
All right.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I already answered this one, which was let's get new topics. So mine's advice.
Well, hey, all right. Let's
Hold
give
on,
you a
we
mo-
have to
take
ask
the
you
mic.
the
just
question.
kidding.
Take the
motherfucker.
mic and talk about it.
No, we're not asking him that.
Oh.
We have to agree with the question and ask him. We
Okay,
can't just
fair
have
enough.
him ask himself a question and say it's over.
I was totally joking. Yeah,
It doesn't work that way, sir.
I was completely joking. Rule 34.
Okay. And
My advice.
what are we asking him?
No.
It's weird because you start thinking about like, what does this guy know about? You know,
Yeah.
because that's like when you start thinking like, all right, Cameron's good at IT, so let me ask him about IT, and you're looking at me like, you know, he worked in a fish store. What does he know about? Like that does. You start assessing the person for what they've done and who they are as a person.
How do you ensure other humans do what you ask them to do?
Beautiful.
They
Philosophical.
literally ask
I
you.
love it.
So you ask them to do something. They're like, yeah, of course, I'll do that. How do you ensure that they actually do that? Because odds are a lot of people won't.
First
Winning
of all,
friends and influencing people.
What's the literally? So what's your advice on trying
are you
to
talking about regards
organize
to my
others?
management position that I'm in?
Yeah,
Okay. The reason is because
literally, like
the
firsthand experience.
There's not a deep philosophical answer to this, and it probably is going to be a little bit of a disappointment. But the real answer is that the dynamic that's set up in regards to business is that you make a contractual agreement, a literal contractual agreement, that you're going to do the work that I ask you to do, and I'm going to compensate you for it. And I have control, which is it's a bit like a dictatorship, and we can talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But I essentially have control over whether or not you're performing your duties to the capacity at which I'm asking you to, in order for you to earn the money which I promise to pay you, right? So, for instance, I can dock anybody's pay whenever I feel like it. I can literally make somebody work at minimum wage for 2 weeks if they call in too many times. So it's a control thing, and it sounds really morbid. Not morbid, but it sounds evil when I'm talking about it out loud. But that's the real dynamic. When you start working for a business, you say, I'm going to produce this for you, whether it's making something, building something, or customer service or fixing computer parts. And if you don't do what you're being asked to do, you're not going to get paid for it. So it's not really a matter of getting them to do it. It's a matter of them wanting something, money, and me wanting something, production. And so it's an agreement.
Yeah, all right, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So there's your boring ass answer to that question.
We've all walked in. Even you, like as you put yourself in the, you're not the manager. All of a sudden, you're the employee,
Right.
and even as a manager, you are an employee to someone else. You're just still
Sure.
doing the exact same thing,
Right.
but back to another person.
Right.
I feel like
you're-
you just gave us a definition of a job, though.
That's what it is, though. That's how you get people to do what you want them to do.
That's what I'm saying.
all of us do that. Even
That's
all
why I
of us-
said the answer I'm going to give is going to be super boring, but it's the truth.
even these
definition of
celebrities.
Now, if you want to go a little more, if you want to go a little deeper with it, and you, let's say, how about this? Your battery dies, and you need a jump, and the person says no at first. How do you get that person to then, and without manipulating them, without making them feel bad for you, but you get them to do what you ask them to do, which is, I'm not going to give you money for this. You don't. This is taking time out of your day, but I really do need a jump for my car. It should come from the kindness of their heart, but it doesn't, and they say no. Then what? Right.
You can ask twice. No, and not just
There's a bunch of
literally
different ways to do
same
that, though.
word, the same words twice. But tell them like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. I know this is really weird. Some other guy coming up to you in the middle of the parking lot, but I'm really sitting there with my car dead, and I can't go home. I'm not asking for money. I'm literally just asking for a jump.
So you play on empathy.
Oh, of course, empathy. That would work first.
Yeah.
I think so much differently, because my reaction is,
How so?
I'll give you $10.
Yeah.
But what if you don't have any money?
Well, we can play what ifs all day.
I guess I was.
But I usually have
Hold
money.
on,
I
hold
asked
on.
that
But
because-
still with that, what if? I'm
I
curious.
usually
too.
have money, so it's
If
not a
you
problem.
don't, though.
I can't remember the last time I didn't at least have $10 to my name, so it's hard for me to do that. But like, okay, let's say I really don't have any money. I'll suck your dick. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
Empathy, like just.
I mean, let's think
explain it.
outside of the box here.
Fit as many emotional reactive words that you can into 5 seconds.
Yeah,
'Cause after 5 seconds they're done
I
listening.
think
to
what
you.
you're trying to do right now is and what I said earlier is manipulate them. Not maybe intentionally, but if you're going to try and get somebody to garner up feelings of feeling bad for you, even though they have no fucking reason to whatsoever, not their fault your battery
But
died.
I'm not harboring any ill will towards this person.
Of course
so is there
not.
anything wrong with me manipulating them
I
to
guess-
be able to get a ride home?
I
Just
guess
that
I've never
word
really
in
thought
general.
about positive manipulation before, but I think that what you're saying is right, because probably you do that with your kids all the time.
Not well.
In a positive way though,
Yeah.
not in like a, I'm gonna make them clean the house because I'm gonna whoop them otherwise.
Kids are harder.
The word manipulation just sounds bad.
It does, doesn't it?
It does,
But
it
don't we
does.
all do it to a certain extent?
We do. Like,
do.
there's white lies. There's things that we can go on about. And like,
Man,
kinda,
I got to get my kids home. I got this going on. Blah blah. Blah. I just need a jump. That's
Oh,
all
dude.
I need. But you're working off empathy. That's all you are. You're
Yes.
trying to play on that person's heartstrings.
But
That's
what
it.
you might be saying is true, though.
Yeah.
I really do have to get my kids
Yeah,
home,
it's
and
true.
I really,
Or it could be
that's a
lying out of
different
my
part
ass,
it.
you know?
Like you could be
right.
on that tip.
But we all could
I do
honestly
need to
fit
get
in a
home.
little half-hour meeting before we take kids from wherever to home. Like there's things we can fit into us. We even manipulate ourselves. Is my point.
Sure.
Saying that manipulation
I manipulate
is
myself
bad
all the
because
time.
all of a sudden, once we start doing it too much to someone else, that's when it's bad.
There should be a word in front of manipulation that makes it bad. Because
Right.
manipulation as a general term, it's just what we do.
We're still manipulating
Like, have
our
you guys-
bodies for that matter.
Have you got?
you
Well,
know?
okay, now
Like,
you're talking physically, but have you guys ever had a friend call you or text you, and then they go, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And then you say nothing, and then they go, "You want to chill?" And then you're like, I gotta do something.
I gotta do this thing.
You're lying. You manipulate. You're lying, right? But we all do it, and we know that it's such like a minuscule exchange. And your friend on the other end's gonna go, okay, whatever. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, all right,
They
bro.
know.
Tell me later.
But most of the
They
time,
know.
right. It's an unspoken rule. But most of the time, you won't go. To be honest with you, man, I really don't feel like hanging out with you.
Yeah, you're not going to.
You
say
never
that.
say that.
Right.
You
Never.
never say
No.
that.
But at the same time, you understand it.
The other person does, right.
They're like, well, they're not feeling it type
Yep.
deal. Instead of them
A
saying,
rational
I'm not
person would
yeah.
think that way.
Exactly.
right?
You know that they're not feeling it because of X, Y, and Z. It's not that they don't like you. It's not that you're a horrible person. It's literally just like, hey, well, I got some other shit going on that I'm worked up over.
Unless
or
you're,
whatever,
unless you're
you know,
immature as fuck,
Unless you are a horrible person, and you,
Right, yeah.
But honestly, like if one of us were to say
Hashtag
that,
me.
it's not like all of a sudden one of us calls the other and it is like, hey, what are you doing today? Nothing, but I really don't want to hang out with you.
Right.
Hang out with you, bro.
Well, you're not
It's
gonna- you're not
it'll
gonna
come
lead
out
with
that way to
that.
us, but we're
Right.
not gonna fucking pull it out of you
Right.
to have to say, well, dude, I just don't want to hang out with you. I got
Do you
other
know
shit
what's
going on.
funny about
I pull
that?
it out of me sometimes.
When I pulled out of myself all the time.
Damn it, my stomach.
I pulled me out of you all the time. I missed the joke. Anyways,
We
that
have
one.
our own ways. We just find a way to be honest with each
So
other.
as our listeners know, I missed episode 2, and my God, if everybody on the planet doesn't fucking know that by now. So because of this exact topic that we're talking about right now, I felt it necessary in my mind to actually Snapchat Cameron my swollen tonsils because I told him I was sick, and I was like, he probably thinks I'm bullshitting.
I tried
because-
showing everyone a third time and it didn't work.
Our society is, or at least here in our little circle, is set up in a way that we always assume that people are just like, it's an unspoken rule, like, yeah, they're bullshit, they just don't want to hang out.
But at the same
Right.
time, we could break
That's
your
true.
balls about it, and we have all day, and we're all okay with
we
it.
can laugh about it, yeah, of course.
That's the
Of course.
greatest part of it.
That's true.
See,
That's
I don't
true.
feel like it's necessarily okay. Yes, you were sick. I get it. That's completely fine. But I'm gonna give you shit because you're sick.
Right.
and
Absolutely.
I know
That's
you're
it. That's
missing
not what
this
I'm talking about at all. Yeah, no. I just mean it's funny that we have to, in our minds, psychologically, we have to think about like, oh, I hope they don't think I'm lying.
thing. Right.
It's just weird we're set up that way. All right, what's
Yeah,
next?
yeah, man, let's go.
I've got a recommendation. Don't ask me about shaving my balls again. We already did that.
That got weird. Jesus, that was weird.
It was still a good question.
No, that was a drunk question.
Whatever. I think it was a good question.
All right, Matt, because you have.
It was weird that Matt kept changing the story of how he actually.
No,
cleaned
he
his
had you
balls
going.
up.
You were asking questions
you
about it.
guys
He
were
was giving you
great.
feedback. Like,
I listened
and
to
it was
the
all you. I
episode.
wasn't. I wasn't
I
a part of
listened to the
this.
episode.
I didn't believe him.
One at-
Regardless, let's
one at a
go.
time.
Recommendation.
I think the problem with that is that Matt, sometimes his jokes don't come off as jokes.
No,
You can't-
at all.
The tone of his voice doesn't change. You're like, is this fucker being serious right now? Like, does he really
You're
shave
talking
his
about
balls?
straight up shaving. Okay, let's.
Yes. Anyways, we're digressing.
Recommendation.
Oh right,
Recommendation.
recommendation.
All right,
What do
Matt,
you got?
you have found an interest in, would you call it audio production or, okay. When did you, I'm going to lead into the question here. When did you find yourself pursuing that avenue or getting interested in it?
Probably in high school, I was in a band.
Okay.
We started doing CDs and stuff for different places or different bands in town as well. We did a Christmas compilation of different bands in town.
Okay.
So we all just got together and started doing it.
Cool. And that's when you sort of fell in love with it, so to speak.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So a lot of people fall in love with things when they're younger. and they don't pursue those things, or they don't get involved with them. And like for me, for instance, like I've always loved aviation, but I, in the foreseeable future, probably won't be flying airplanes, right? And I know it sounds like a sorry excuse, just go out and do it, you know, whatever. But anyway, the point is we all have things that we wish we would have done, or that we want to do, or that we don't pick up as hobbies. Podcasting was one of mine. Check. And so my question to you is, what do you recommend for somebody who knows that they want to do something, but they have a 40 an hour a week job, they have kids, they have other obligations? Like, how do you recommend they start to like get themselves down the avenue in which they love, like you do with audio production?
I'd say anything that you can start doing it now. Anytime that you have any little bits here and there, if that's, you know, reading a book about it, if it's listening to a podcast about it, whatever you can do, there's always more time in the day than what you think. Like, just by listening to podcasts and stuff myself, I've learned so much from, you know, I've done photography in the past, I've done audio production, I've done just different things like that. A lot of those things I've learned from different podcasts.
What sorry to cut you off, but with what these things that you have watched on this, what can you say is the biggest thing that you like really hit your like, hey, like I can really take from that from watching something like this, like on like a YouTube video or you know, reading a book type deal? What was something that really stuck with you on that?
Let's see. A lot of different things. I've listened to a book. I forget what it's called now.
Audiobook?
Yeah, it was an audiobook. I listen to a lot of audiobooks.
Okay.
I go through Audible like all the time. It's I can look it up real quick. It's a book about doing.
It's so hard to do two things at once. I'll fill the quiet space.
Thank you.
Matt, by the way, for anybody who doesn't, thanks for dropping that, Cam. Really killed the mood there. But Matt is really our producer. I mean, he's the one getting all this stuff uploaded.
He's our base right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's editing the video or the audio. He's making it sound like we don't have stupid gaps in between everything we say. And he does sound checks before we start, and he's really just like he's really our anchor for this whole thing. And I think without him, none of this would really exist. He's got soundboard with all these cables that stick out, and I have no fucking idea what they do.
I mean, I just wish he would put clothes on every once in a while.
I mean, hey,
and some of us wish he wouldn't.
I gotta do
so
what I gotta do.
We're not gonna talk about that.
Agree to disagree.
I honestly cannot find.
That's okay, no worries.
Yeah,
So listening to audiobooks basically of your specific interest.
Right, different interests. Actually, a lot of it was just business in general, just listening to business things in general.
It just comes together.
Right, exactly. So if you might think, okay, I want to do aviation, but at the same time, if you learn about something that's close to aviation, you might actually launch yourself into getting more into it. Like with me, I did a lot of, I love audio production, but I didn't do it for the longest time until you guys decided, hey, you know, let's do this podcast. What do we need?
That's what sparked the question for me, because it didn't seem like you did prior to this.
I didn't a lot. Back in high school, we did our CDs and stuff. I did mastering for that. I did recording and stuff for different bands, and then I just kind of dropped it. I regret that, definitely.
Sure, we all have regrets.
You're doing a hell of a job.
Thank
now.
you. I appreciate it.
Hell of a job.
And a lot of that is, I feel like, building up from just dropping the audio and then going towards website production, making websites, building websites, etc., business production, advertising, etc., stuff like that. Just different things I've learned on YouTube, on podcasts, on audiobooks, whatever. I think a lot of that stuff has actually gone into building this out to where it is now. And then obviously relying on the audio stuff that I've learned. And I'm actually going to LCC. I'm trying to go to an audio program actually to learn a lot more about it. So
podcast is about to sound a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully.
That's awesome. So it's not even just audio production, it's more media production.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I guess my recommendation is if you're going to go into something like this, then, or anything really, if you have something that you want to do, just put your time into it. Just any time,
even
that you
bits
have,
at a time.
Any bits at a time. If you're on the lawnmower and mowing your lawn, listen to a podcast about it.
See, I feel like if you're going to put your time into something that you actually see valuable or you actually want to do type deal, it shouldn't be that hard. Because if you actually like this stuff, like I'm sure you listening to it or learning about it type deal, it's satisfying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's like, if you're actually into this and it's satisfying to you, like, why not put in the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
you know?
Because I think a lot of it, Chevy's getting the ball rolling. Because thoughts are one thing, but action is a completely a different thing. You know,
Yeah.
No,
you can get
absolutely.
into a really good job. You can make tons of money and be like, you know what? I
forget
hate
about the
this.
thing that you like.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You at one point in time, you loved playing guitar. You thought, you know, I'm gonna freaking be some rock star one day.
Mhm.
You're not gonna be a rock star, but at the same time,
hold
you still
on.
play guitar.
But
It's okay.
okay, so like me, I'm a very good writer. I could write my ass off. I could probably shit out a bunch of stories
I'd
right
love
now.
to see that.
See, that's what I don't want. Though.
No, for you to literally shit stories out of your asshole.
I'm saying
Paper
like,
cuts
everything
galore.
I write, it has to actually mean something to me.
Mm.
I don't want to let go a bunch of bullshit that doesn't mean anything. Like if I'm gonna actually sit down and write, I want it to be my stories and things that are gonna be something I want to share with everyone.
Satisfying
For
to
all-
you
yeah.
and everybody else.
I don't want just people to eat it up because I want to share me with the people that I'm writing to. I
Right.
want them to read the story like I'm telling it. I want them to experience it like I'm telling it, type deal. And if it's not that, it's not good enough.
Sure.
So like me being on that tip, of course I want to do the best that I can with stuff that I love. And sometimes it's just not ready.
But to get the ball rolling, in general, you have to at least start.
You have to
doing it.
feed into that.
You have to
shit.
feed into it. So
Yeah.
a little bit at a time will get the ball rolling. at least,
Exactly.
right?
And like it picks
That's
up.
kind
like
of my
snow.
recommendation. You know, it's just kind of, you know, start it up. It's like a snowball. You just snowball affect it just a little bit at a time, and it keeps going and going and going and growing. And
All of a sudden, Wait What has 1,500,000 downloads a week. All right,
And
Cameron.
somebody gets killed at the bottom of the hill.
Killed
run
that
over
one.
somebody.
What do you
All
got?
right, Cam,
Cam,
what do you
got,
got?
Cam?
I have opinion,
Great.
and I'm disappointed by it.
Okay. I got one. If not at this job, at your current job, at one. Sorry about shaking everybody's mics. At a job prior, have you ever had an interaction with a coworker where it was either not even just awkward, but like, I don't want to work with this fucking person anymore?
Oh.
Yeah.
No. This is going to lead into your opinion, so you have to answer that question first.
Have I ever? Yes.
Yes. So you have that
To
in your
where
mind.
you didn't want to work
You
with
got to
them
the
anymore?
point-
It was just well, all right. So I didn't want to because it would just be hard to work with them.
Now, is this years ago?
No,
How long ago?
a year ago.
Okay. Do you still work with that person?
No,
Why?
it's a team of people.
Because the project ended?
It's not because well, yeah, of course the project ended, it died, but just because they were all right. So it was, other contractors from this whole company. Won't name the company, but it's a big one. All of a sudden, all these contractors are being
L'Oreal.
sold. Like I was part of these senior people that was like, okay, yeah, I'll work with these senior developers. There'll be experienced people. They get there and they just graduated college. None of them have ever produced anything. This is their first project. Blah blah blah. There's all these youngins fresh out of college, and all of a sudden, we were told we were getting senior, seasoned professionals.
They lied.
Seasoned.
You really
The salesman lied.
You feel
about
as though
who
they lied
were.
straight to your face about that?
No, well, the salesman did. Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up.
Can you tell me what you mean by seasoned professionals?
People who have been in the field long enough to
Salt and pepper.
understand
Exactly.
the field of study.
Exactly. So for
with
me
your
in development,
field-
it's literally so all of a sudden, if you're coming to me and you're wondering about the logic of a ternary statement in software,
You're not
development,
asking what a ternary statement is.
Yeah, you're not like you're look.
You should know
exactly,
that.
exactly. For a
You already
seasoned
know what that is in
professional-
the first place.
Exactly.
My question
a seasoned
was,
professional, and that's just a simple term. That's just a term, let
Okay.
alone practices and all that.
My question was, what would be your epitome of a seasoned professional?
What would be my epitome of it?
Yeah, like
Someone
your
who's already
no,
taken-
your opinion, like
Oh.
how long have they worked?
Is it-
What are
Oh yeah, it's
Are their
literally
credentials.
you're able to take your own ideas and turn it into software developed solutions.
okay?
That's literally it.
This
That's-
is-
a seasoned professional
So-
doesn't have enough time to work on their own projects, let alone yours.
So
and
it's
that's
not
why
time.
you're paying
It's
them.
not a time thing. It's just where they're at.
It is a time thing. It's still, even a good software engineer is still trading his time on this earth for dollars,
Okay.
and that's not the key to wealth, but it's a key to some good money. I'm also, I fully believe anyone can do it. Blah blah.
This
blah,
isn't
blah,
this isn't
but
where I plan on going with this opinion at all. But I think shifting this conversation is good because this is a very controversial topic and it comes a lot from people who graduate college, and that is and you just really touched on this hardcore. People who graduate college often complain that it's very difficult for them to find a job in the field of their study because a lot of the requirements to apply for the position are 5 years of experience, and you've dealt with this, and these are things that people who went to college haven't dealt with. Now, the catch-22 is that they've invested, let's say, I don't know, on average $60,000 to get an education because the employer wants them to have that education. So isn't it antithetical to the whole idea of getting the education from college and then getting a job in that field if that particular field goes, we don't really feel like teaching you things, so we're going to hire people who have we're going to hire people that have more experience, but that candidate pool is obviously so much smaller than it, and besides that, you're not giving people out of college an opportunity, and that's what sucks, I think.
They're pitching an opportunity without there really being one. So they're pitching these invisible opportunities that people are actually putting up money for. Recruiters, people who say like, "Oh, we'll come," whomever is selling a fucking arts degree from, LCC, for example.
That's not my point at all. That's not my point at all. My point is like let's say your field.
Right.
IT development, right?
Right.
I'm hitting that on the nose?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
IT in general.
Okay, perfect.
Matter,
Let's say somebody goes to state for 4 years for that exact field of study.
Mm-hmm. Software development.
Yes. And they put them on a project with you. And those people go, you're about to get some seasoned professionals, and I understand the whole terminology behind that. And if your employer lied to you, that sucks. But isn't there a part of you that goes, okay, these kids have to garnish this experience somewhere? Wouldn't it be great if we worked together and we solved this problem and didn't minimize them to they're not seasoned, but hopefully they can pick up on this because shit, let's be real, they've been studying it for 4 years.
Hold on.
And perhaps they don't know some things, but that's what you're there for.
But that's gambler's fallacy.
There's also...
Explain to me what that means because I don't know.
Go
what
ahead,
that means.
Chevy.
There is a thing which is ego, which is like, hey, I've studied this shit and I know all
This has
about
nothing to
it.
do with production.
This is
How does it?
I'm talking about
We're
production.
back to
I don't
gambler's
care if
fallacy.
your ego is huge or
Gambler's
your ego is small.
fallacy.
We're talking about getting the job done.
So literally,
That's exactly what I'm talking about. When you have those credentials and you come up like, I have these credentials, but you're not producing anything.
Oh, sure.
Then what the fuck
Well,
are you
it's
worth?
driven.
well, if we're talking about them not producing anything, that's a different
That's
story.
what I'm saying.
the beauty of,
like,
like-
these seasoned ass motherfuckers.
but honestly, that's a beautiful part of where the software industry is at because we're literally at a monetary breaking point where it's like you either nut up or shut up. I could care less about the fucking credentials you bring to the table.
Right.
Let me see your resume. Let me actually look and touch and feel what the things are that you have made before. And literally that will carry you
What if
farther
they've made
through an
nothing?
interview than a master's degree, PhD. I've touched leadership at a lot of companies and I have no degree. Literally.
Can I ask something real quick here?
That's another story.
And it's an opinion question. In your opinion, would you suggest someone go to a 4-year college or a 2-year college or anything like that, or would you suggest
Depends
them
on
go
what
online?
for.
in your specific field of study.
In my
in your
field of
specific-
study? Oh, no. No. There's
Waste
so
of
many
money?
online. It's a waste of money. Oh my god, that's the first biggest reason. It's a waste of money.
That's
and
my-
second biggest reason.
that's
It's a
a
waste
great
of time.
question.
That's 4 years of your life of your career gone.
Right.
You could be learning the same things for free from tons of different online sources. I've talked about this before.
That's
I was gonna say
something
that.
that I was going back to. Like, you're talking about these people that are like, hey, I have all this type deal, but what you have is a resume, and it takes over what they actually have with, oh, well, I got all this, and then they can't do their fucking job.
Exactly, and that's the point. They literally I've never been in an interview where they didn't give me a skills assessment, is what they call it. Literally, even at IBM, they had me code on pen and paper. They literally had me write out my whole program, my whole algorithm, and it was double checked. My point is,
I would kill myself.
My
I'm sorry.
opinion on
You wouldn't be there in the first place.
what is the
No.
bottom? What was the essentially my opinion? What was
Well,
my
he
question?
changed it to.
Would you go to a 4-year college or not?
Yeah.
For that.
But my first one was
Short
like,
answer is no.
Okay.
what's your opinion on accepting people into the field that don't have quote unquote experience but are fresh out of college, i.e. they've been studying this for 4 years?
I've literally I'm leading a team of interns right now on a project. I have a junior developer.
Well, that's why
on
I'm
my
asking you
full-time
because
project.
it's prevalent to. Or
So
it's,
I fully
topical.
believe, get out there, fucking do something.
But didn't you start?
get to work with people, make your own things, but at the same
Didn't you
time,
start with
be
saying that
humble.
you're pissed off that they weren't seasoned professionals?
That's what they were sold to us as, but I started
See,
to
that-
recognize who they were. I still have friends from there.
That's
For
what
example,
I kept bringing up, is that they said they were all of this, but then you could get a fucking somebody else who isn't all of what they say, and they're doing the job 10 times fucking
So
better.
literally,
Right.
my
Right.
complaints, my
That makes
quote
sense.
unquote complaints to my manager at the time were like, hey, my team could be doing a lot more if we were actually given seasoned professionals. Instead, I have these junior developers that I'm working with. They're learning a lot right now, but they're not helping us progress the project.
Do you know?
And that was my biggest complaint.
Do you know the single reason that they gave you those amateurs instead of the seasoned professionals?
Oh yeah. There no
Money.
and see that brings up this was a very specific situation with a specific client, but they actually weren't cheap. They were over $100 an hour.
And the seasoned professionals, quote unquote, would probably be too.
See, they were the seasoned professionals.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
They were the seasoned professionals, and they were hundreds of dollars.
I
per
see.
hour.
Right. Okay. And alternatively, the people who are interns or fresh off college are much cheaper.
Exactly. Well, all of a sudden, we're me and all of my other teammates from the same vendor, like we were.
Let's just wrap it up.
Yeah. All right, time to go.
Okay. Well, we got a lot out there, guys. I feel like that was
Yeah.
a little heated.
This feels
for a
like
second
almost like a 2-hour thing.
Yeah.
It's
But you know
Steve,
what?
if you called it, it'd be sloppy.
there. Why? What from?
86.
First half.
86%. Look at that.
Ah,
Yep.
yes,
Thank you
indeed.
to
All right, well,
I thought it was
Black.
great, guys. I had a great time.
Signing out this Chevy Shoveling.
Steve, okay.
I am Cameron.
I'm Matt, and just want to let you guys know, come and check out waitwhatpodcast.com. You can go ahead and Google it. WAITWHA podcast.com. Thanks, guys.
Love you.
Bye.